Hello and welcome back to another edition of NXT Out of 10. A very busy show this week with Karrion Kross versus Dominik Dijakovic and a huge announcement from William Regal and Keith Lee to start off the show. NXT started with William Regal addressing the WWE Universe, throwing it to the double champ Keith Lee. The champ was sitting at the desk, prized with his possessions. He knew how hard it was to get to NXT, let alone hold not one title, but two. So he made the decision to relinquish the North American title. We'll have a few triple threat matches to determine who will challenge for the belt at the next takeover. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10. I just don't understand the point in having a double title match if this is what you're going to do. So yeah. First match was Dexter Lumis versus Killian Dane. Lumis was taken down quickly by the Hound of Ulster, but quickly rose back to his feet. Never taking his eyes off Dane, he managed to get in ahead of his opponent. Dane dragged Lumis to the floor, where he was met with a series of right hands. However, the divide connecting, crashing through Lumis and leaving him grabbing his ribs. Dane followed up, tossing him into the plexiglass. On the inside, a guillotine leg drop brought all of Dane's weight across the neck of a hanging Lumis. The tortured artist suffered through a lot of punishment as Dane continued to use his body as a weapon. After minutes of punishment, Lumis hit a big splash with a spinebuster. He continued to fight back, preparing Dane with more right hands following a Thus press. A clothesline and bulldog meant that Dane's kicked out of two. Dane then responded with a shotgun dropkick into the corner and a cannonball sent on. The finish came when the Anaconda Vice was locked in by Lumis and Dane couldn't get out. Overall, I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. Pretty decent match to kick off NXT and exceeded my expectations. Next up, we got Roderick Strong and Johnny Gargano and Bronson Reed arguing backstage about their triple threat North American qualifying match. And then we got Everrise v Breezango. Chase Parker was being handled by Tyler Breeze at first, and it looked like it was going to be an easy win for Breezango. However, this actually developed into a fairly decent match, really. Bit of a back and forth, but eventually Breezango won with a pair of super kicks that laid out Everrise. As much as it was quite a competitive match, I'm only going to give it a 6 out of 10. Just didn't really get me invested, to be honest. We then got Dominik Dijakovic backstage, hyping up his match with Karrion Kross. Then we got Aaliyah v Shotzi Blackheart. After chasing Robert Stone around the NXT ring, Shotzi planted Aaliyah, screaming, "Welcome to the bull pit," whatever that means. A cannonball sent on the ropes connected, but a second one was avoided by Aaliyah, who followed up with a facebuster to the floor. Aaliyah continued to build more momentum, hitting a suplex exploder combination. Robert Stone was quite proud. A camel clutch trapped Blackheart in the middle of the ring. She was closing in a big win, but the ref noticed that she was using the ropes. Blackheart then hit a Nazi Enziguri and followed that with a dragon suplex to pick up the win. After the match, Shotzi Blackheart ran over Robert Stone's other leg with a tank. As she celebrated, Mercedes Martinez hit her with a big kick. I'm going to give this a 6.25 out of 10, mainly because of Robert Stone. Then we got Gargano v Reed v Strong. Strong and Gargano worked together at first, but Bronson Reed had them both covered. Back from the break, Reed was in the middle of an all-out assault on his opponents. However, as he set up for a dive on Gargano, Strod slid in with a running knee on the rope. Strong followed up with some clobbering blows in the corner. Gargano followed in suit, leading to both men fighting for the opportunity to hit the big man. Reed made it back to his feet again, but had his knee taken out by the Messiah of the backbreaker. Reed stomped a double Irish whip, launching both men into each other, and Gargano was flattened. Strong was then caught in a sunslip flip, and Reed broke up the Sun Golden West and went to work on the NXT champion. So just continuing the flow of the match, really. It was pretty much like this. They both had a couple of fight backs, but not much really. Gargano was able to plant Strong with one final beat at the end of the match, but couldn't respond from a big splash by Bronson Reed for the win. And wow, this was a really good match. 7.25 out of 10. I was just shocked that Bronson Reed won it, but great to see. Next up, Timothy Thatcher, the only Lorcan. Thatcher and Lorcan jockey for position in their rematch. Lorcan went for the mount but was slapped off by Thatcher as they made it back from their feet. A belly-to-belly suplex brought the Star Destroyer to the match. A half-hatch suplex connected as well, leading to Thatcher working towards the bow and arrow. Lorcan broke out and found himself in an armbar. Luckily, he was near the ropes to force a break. Thatcher battered Lorcan with slaps and chops and all that sort of stuff before Lorcan reversed. However, Thatcher reversed again, escaping from a half-and-half suplex attempt. This continued to be quite a back-and-forth match until the finish came when Thatcher was able to turn momentum on Lorcan in what was an incredible move, actually, turning a submission attempt into a pinfall, and Thatcher got the win. Overall, I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. Love these two, and they're great in the ring together. Just maybe move on now they've had 2 matches. Next up, Mercedes Martinez joined the Robert Stone brand. Brilliant way to ruin a competitor who looked really good. But then it was main event time. Dominik Dijakovic v Karrion Kross. It was a brawl to start with, but then eventually Kross just absolutely dominated Dijakovic. The referee was going to stop it when there was brutal moves on the chair. At that moment, NXT champion Keith Lee came to the ring, and he wanted to interfere, but Dejakovic refused help, and then Kross eventually put him away with the Kross jacket, and boy did he look like a monster. 6.75 out of 10, and set up Lee v Kross perfectly as well. Overall this week, NXT is going to get a 6.5 out of 10 from me. I thought it was a pretty decent show, but just there was some segments that just weren't very good. Like, I didn't like Keith Lee vacating the titles. I didn't like Mercedes Martinez joining Robert Stone brand. But then on the other hand, you had that triple threat match, which was absolute class. So it just went in swings and roundabouts this show, really. But for me, the winner of the Wednesday Night War this week was probably AEW. They just had a consistently good show throughout the show. There was only one bad match, really, and that was between 2 very inexperienced women. So suppose you could give them a bit of leeway. But yeah, AEW, just nick it for me, really. But anyway, guys, that is it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about NXT and the Wednesday Night War in general in the comments down below. Remember to follow me on Twitter, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, and subscribe to my other channels on screen right now. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.